Am I wrong for not asking my father to walk me down the aisle? I, 27 female, am engaged, planning to get married to my partner, 30 female. Ooh. Since I came out as bi when I was 15, my dad hasn't been supportive of me. He was upset when I first told him about my fiance and has made it clear he doesn't approve of me being with the women. He's very distant when I take her to my parents' home for dinner and won't talk to her when making conversations at the dinner table. When my fiance isn't around, he's made a lot of subtle cutting comments about our relationship, despite me telling him to back off. He makes it very clear in general that he doesn't see her as family. Basically, he's been casually homophobic my entire life. You know the type. He's not providing any financial support for the wedding, and when I asked if he would actually be attending the wedding, he just gave me a snide, "We'll see." So I honestly wasn't even expecting he would turn up. Part of our intended wedding ceremony will involve me being walked down the aisle and given away. I enjoy a lot of classic wedding traditions, and that's one I really want to carry out. I assumed my dad wouldn't want to walk me down the aisle, and to be honest, I don't want him to either. So I asked a male friend, 58, instead. This man has known me for almost half my life. He's like a mentor to me and honestly has been more like a father figure to me than my actual dad has. I love him like a paternal figure. We met when I was 16. He was teaching an acting class I signed up for. We both work in theater. He's provided lots of emotional support over the years and been openly supportive of my relationship from the start. He has 2 sons around my age and has said before he sees me a bit more like the daughter he never had. He said he'd be honored to give me away. My dad learned of this fact recently and I'm not sure how. He's furious. He says I'm undermining his authority as a parent and making him look like an asshole and a fool to everyone who attends the wedding, and if I insist on going through with this, he won't be able to attend at all. There's no way he's going to sit at a table and watch some other man give me away. He's pissed I didn't ask him. After he said that, I asked if he would have said yes. He dodged the question and yelled at me and eventually hung up on me. I admit I didn't consider asking him and I honestly didn't see the need to. I guess it'll be embarrassing for my dad if he comes, but considering his behavior towards me and my fiance over the course of our relationship, I don't feel like he's justified to make this demand. So, am I the asshole for not asking my actual dad to walk me down the aisle?
Oh my god, when my dad found out my husband and I were like talking, we were only a couple months into getting to know each other or talking. As most of you know, we were friends for a couple of years and then we started, getting to know each other, liking each other. But a couple months in, we already had said I love you, and we knew that we were getting to know each other only for the sake of marriage. So my mom knew about us because I told my mom everything, but my dad didn't know because I don't know, I kind of needed to be ready to tell him. But he found out anyways. Dad is not one of those strict Arab controlling types of dads, but I never really talked to him about boys. As no one was special enough in my life to bring up a boy to him. So I didn't know how he's gonna react. So he sits me down, and by the way, he already knew about Tamor, who's my husband, because I used to tell him stories about us being friends in school, because I was very open with my parents and tell them about all my friends. So he's like, "So Tamor?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "So you like him?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Does he treat you good? Is he good to you?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I mean, we're still getting to know each other, but I really like him, and I think he could be the one." And he's like, "All right, well, you guys got to get the process going and get engaged." And so my dad was like, "Yeah, you have to, pretty much he has to come ask for you." And I'm like, no, we've only been talking a couple months. I kind of want to get to know him more. Plus, he hasn't told his parents, he's going through his own stuff. We're still in dental school. We can't just get engaged right now. And my dad's like, "Okay, well, you've been testing the waters for a couple months. You already know you like him and you're interested in marriage. So no more talking. You can't talk until he's ready to marry you and come ask for you." I was like, that's a little bit hard because we're in dental school together. I see him. Oh, I don't know what that noise was, but we're in dental school together. I see him every day. We've been friends for a couple of years. I can't just stop talking to him, that doesn't make sense. And my dad was like, "Well, you're going to stop talking to him until he's ready to come ask for you." So I call Tamor, literally bawling my eyes out. This is 12 at night. We're in dental school. He lived where we went to school in Sarasota, and I lived at home because I drove to school every day from Tampa, which is an hour commute. So I literally call him bawling. I'm like, "We can't talk anymore, this and that. I don't know what to do." And I also didn't want to force him to tell his family and come ask for me because it's so early and I didn't want to scare him. This was his first serious big thing. So it's literally 11 at night. I'm crying in my car to him and he's like, "All right, I'm on my way. Don't worry, I'm gonna fix this. I'll be there in an hour." It was an hour drive. So literally that means he would get here at 12 a.m. to come fix things. I was so confused. I was like, what is going on right now? So it's 11 at night and he says, okay, I'm on my way. I'm going to come talk to your dad. Like, don't worry, I'll fix it. And I'm sitting here bawling. I'm like, what? Are you crazy? And he's like, no, I'm coming. Also, we had dental school the next day. So like, this is a crazy move. So I go tell my parents, I'm like, he's on his way. And my dad's like, what do you mean he's on his way? Like, it's time to go to bed. And I'm like, no, please. He wants to come talk to you. He's driving all the way here just to kind of explain his intentions and all of that. Because my dad low-key thought like he was playing me. Because he's like, if he doesn't come ask for you, then he's not worth your time. Like, you need someone who's all about you right now. Which he's right, like, valid. And I'm like, yeah, he's literally already left. And low-key, you could see my dad got happy because he's like, okay, like, he's serious about you. And my mom even, like, stayed up, and she never stays up. And we're all just patiently waiting. I was, like, freaking trembling in my boots because I'm like, what if he doesn't like him? Like, he's Pakistani, he's not Palestinian. I don't know how my family's gonna react. He doesn't speak Arabic. And it's just like a big moment. Like, your man is meeting your parents like last minute. I couldn't even imagine what Tamor was going through because this was so last minute and like random, and he has to come and pretty much like, what's the word? Like, portraying his love for me. I forgot the word, but like, he had to prove why he loves me, why he's serious about me, why he wants to marry me, why he's the guy for me. So he comes in, I open the door, and I'm like terrified, and I wear my emotions on my sleeve, super anxious, and I look at him and I'm like, hey, like, not even a smile, not even any words of encouragement. I just feel so horrible looking back. And I'm like scaring him even more because he's coming in and looking at like an anxious face. Like, that doesn't feel good. But literally, it's 12 a.m. I'm like, my dad's outside. He goes straight to my dad. It's like, we are talking business over here. No fooling around. I was serious. He was serious. He goes outside. So he goes outside to my dad, and he's just like, I'm very serious about your daughter. I want to marry her. I've never felt like this about anyone. Like, I'm going to treat her right. All this stuff, okay? Like, he's saying the right words. Like, this man knows how to talk. My dad's super impressed, and he's like, okay, so why don't you come ask for her? Like, I don't see why you can't do that right now. And he pretty much explained his own situation with his parents, and he just couldn't do it at the time. I'm not going to go into details about that. And my dad was like, okay, well, you guys could talk here and there, but you can't sit here and talk all day like you're dating. He was like, no pressure, no rush. You can't really date until then, but when you're ready to marry my daughter, that's when you can really get to know each other and come back whenever you're ready, pretty much. And he got on my dad's good side. He really liked him, but my dad was still being super tough on him at the beginning, understandable. And then after he left, my dad was like, I really respect that he did this, like, drove an hour this late because he wants my approval. And he's like, that just shows me that he really does care about you. So pretty much my dad was happy with him and got like a little reassurance, but we weren't still allowed to like full on talk or date, whatever you want to call it. Not too much after that, he told his parents, and pretty much we introduced the families and all that. That's a whole separate story that I can do, but that's what happened. The fact that he even did that was like even crazy to me. Like, not only did it prove to my dad that he's an amazing guy and all about me, but it showed me like, wow, like, this is the lengths guys are willing to do for girls. Like, I've never seen anything like that. But yeah, I never even imagined a guy would go to this extent for me, let alone my freaking best friend from dental school. Like, what the hell?
Storytime about how this girl pretended to be my best friend just to go on vacation with me. So a little background information, I was 14 and a freshman in high school, and we're going to call this girl Sophia. Sophia and I met whenever we were in 6th grade, and we were inseparable. And shortly after her and I had became best friends, my mom thought that it would be nice for us to go on vacation to Hawaii in 2 years. She also said that my brother and I would be able to bring one friend each. So I asked Sophia if she wanted to come to Hawaii in 2 years, and of course she said yes. Keep in mind, I was popular, Sophia was kind of lame, and I'm not even saying that just to be mean, but it's true. So over the next 2 years, her and I are hanging out every day, sneaking out together because we also live like 2 minutes away from each other. And my brother decided that he was going to bring his friend Noah. And I had a crush on Noah, and Sophia knew this, but she would always flirt with him in front of me. I really should have saw this as a red flag, but you know, we love to ignore those. And then out of nowhere, Sophia starts dressing like me and starts getting more popular in school, which I didn't really care because I was still her best friend. Mainly because she didn't really have any other friends. So fast forward, vacation comes around and we all go to Hawaii. We had the best time ever. And then we come home and I barely hear from her. Like, I was putting in all the effort, texting her every day, and her responses were dry as fuck. And then she had this boyfriend named Brendan, which I guess that could have been the reason why she wasn't talking to me as much. Because, you know, you get into a relationship and all of your focus goes towards that, especially at this age. But the only reason why she started dating him was because he was popular. So they break up and she stopped talking to me altogether. She even blocked me on Instagram. So I asked her what happened and she said that I was a controlling bitch and she didn't want to be friends with me, which doesn't even make any sense because I've never been controlling to her. And then she starts texting me like everything was okay, and this went on for a little bit. But after a few months, I just stopped talking to her, but I definitely felt used.
The way my mom found out I lost my V card was the most embarrassing thing that could possibly happen to me. And this is why it's so important for parents to educate their kids and let them know that they can come to them no matter what. My mom got me one of those portable photo albums. They're connecting my phone to the computer to put it onto there. Little do I know, I completely forgot I had a secret file. And the secret file popped up and it probably had the worst thing you can think your kid doing. I'm so embarrassed. Everything was seen. Everything was seen. So that's how she found out, okay? If you are ready and you want to be intimate with your partner, talk to your parents. I know there's some parents that are like, forbidden, you cannot do it, that's no, like ill, no, don't talk to me about it. But then there's my mom and there's parents like this that are like, please talk to me so I can tell you the proper precautions, protection, and etc. Which is my mom, so I don't know why the hell I was scared. I was just like, girl, it's not your business what I be doing. Parents' fear is that the kids learn from their friends, but then again, there's parents that don't even want to educate their kids on it, but don't want them to learn from their friends. It don't make sense. Ask a trusted adult, talk to a trusted adult, tell them what you want to do, ask for advice, tips, tricks. There's male protection and woman protection. There's both. You can do both. If not, you can I don't push stuff like that on people. Y'all can do what y'all want to do. It's not my body. But listen, educate yourself on stuff like that. Educate yourself on the STDs and STIs and UTIs and stuff like that, okay? Let me talk shit on parents real quick because, listen, y'all talk about how it's so forbidding in your household and that your kid shouldn't do it. Anyway, your kid's going to do it because they're growing up and they have hormones and they want to do it. You saying don't do it is not going to stop them from doing it. And all you're going to do is scare your child from even telling you that they're doing it. And God forbid they pop out with a baby. They're not going to tell you because guess what? They're terrified. And ever since I told my mom about it, I never shut up about it. I'd be like, Mom, listen, this is what I did last night. Seriously, parents, stop forbidding your kids from doing it because they're going to do it anyway. And then kids, go to a trusted adult before you start bouncing because listen, it's not always what you think.
This is why being called brave at the gym has absolutely destroyed me. So for some background, I've been going to the gym for about 4 years now. 4 years ago, I was 30 kilos heavier. Within a year, I lost that 30 kilos. And ever since then, I've just been enjoying my time at the gym. Love to lift weights, love going to classes. And then at the start of this year, I got a really bad injury and it's only just started to go away 10 months later. Now, as a result of that weight loss, I have a lot of loose overhanging skin, and that is all in one area, which is the lower part of my torso. I got told that it was going to go away, never has, something that I've just accepted, and it's just a part of me, and I honestly love it. I also love to wear bright and colourful outfits to the gym, often with like a crop and then some tights or some shorts. I don't really like wearing loose t-shirts or loose singlets because I just find them uncomfortable to train in, and I feel super hot in what I'm wearing, so why not? And then last week I posted a TikTok about being motivated for the gym when you're in a bit of a slump. That reached the wrong side of TikTok and I got hundreds upon hundreds of vile comments about my body. So that, on top of the fact that I was having some personal issues at home, already really started to just break me down and I was feeling horrible, but I was hanging on by a little bit of a thread and I was still going to the gym, enjoying my life. And then I get a message from somebody that I see in person saying that they think that I am so brave for going to the gym. Now, this may be enough for some of you to understand exactly why this is so hurtful and has just absolutely destroyed my self-confidence. But if not, let's explain it. You may think that you're doing me the biggest favor and giving me so much self-confidence by saying that I'm so brave going to the gym. Why am I brave going to the gym? Why am I brave? You know why you think I'm brave? Tell me. Now, I'm not a mind reader, so I don't know exactly what's going on in that person's head, but I think I have a pretty clear idea, and I know for a fact that they would never say that to my face. This skinny girl thinks that I am so brave for going to the gym because my body composition is a little bit different to hers and it's not the norm, and I get a lot of hate for it, obviously, and so I'm so brave to be able to put on tights or shorts or a crop top and go to the gym and work out because it's so scary and I'm just so brave. When in reality, I'm just wearing clothing and I'm just going to the gym to work out. In reality, I'm just here to fuel skinny people's ego because they may have struggles in the gym, but they will look at me and they go, God, you know, I'm having a bad day, but at least I don't look like her going to the gym, and she's so brave and she's so great because she's there to lose weight because she's so fat and she needs to lose weight. So I'm so glad that she's going to the gym to lose all that weight. She's so brave. I could personally never wear tight clothing when my body looks like that. And I don't think that's very far from the truth, to be honest. I think that's exactly what's going on in people's head like hers. And so now, for the first time in my entire life, every time I walk into the gym, I feel so self-conscious because I think that all these fit, skinny people are looking at me and pitying me just for going to the gym and just wearing whatever I want. And that is why it has broken me.
Friend. Girl was actually a very close friend. I actually consider her a sister. We played soccer together. We would go out together, spend the night, everything. We were so close that I would even let her borrow clothes. What was I thinking? In middle school, when you have like little boyfriends. So I had a little boyfriend and he ended up transferring to her school. And I remember telling him, oh my gosh, like my friend goes to that school. Like that's so cool. Well, bitch, I was in for a surprise. So this girl ended up talking to him. She was like, oh, it's not even me. Like it's him. Someone like texting me. And I was like, okay, like whatever. Like I'm not tripping. I didn't even like the boy like that. Anyways. I was like, you can have him. It's all good. Well, as soon as I told her that she could have him, she literally started dating him right after. And I was just like, awkward. So they're in a whole ass relationship. And I'm over here like, I feel like this bitch is supposed to be my sister. Guess fucking not, right? We are both at the same high school and I have a group of friends. From one day to another, two of the girls from my group just stopped talking to me. And I was like, that's weird. Like, I didn't do anything to them. I confronted the girls that stopped talking to me because I was like, well, I didn't do anything to you, so I don't understand like what's going on. Turns out that this bitch went to them and told them that I was supposedly talking shit about them, and they fucking believed her. Like, girl, what? I ended up moving schools, ended up texting like a few months after, like just catching up. Little did I know that her little messy ass had something up her sleeve. I had broke up with my boyfriend. Comes to find out that this bitch went to my ex and was trying to get at him. I was just so confused. I was like, what the fuck? At this point, I shouldn't even be confused anymore because I probably already knew how she was. Basically went to him and told him that she wasn't cool with me anymore and that we weren't even close anymore. This bitch obviously does not know about girl code. I end up getting together and I end up finding out by a friend. You know, I was shook because I was like, that bitch is supposed to be my sister. We just texted a few weeks ago. We're checking in on each other and now she's dating my ex. She would always be sneak dissing me on social media. Why are you the bothered one? Like, I thought I should be the bothered one, but it wasn't even me. It was her. We finally break up or whatever. And guess who messaged me? She did. She basically messaged me to tell me that she was sorry. Girl, isn't it too late? She was asking to start our friendship all over and hang out like the old times. Girl, like at this point, you're cut off. Like, girl, you date all my freaking exes. You run your mouth about me. Like, you're talking all this shit on social media. And like, no. Honestly, I feel like once you take the situation on social media, like, you're done and over with, girl. Like, there's no going back. Like, you said what you said on social media. Stick to your word. I was just very hurt by the fact that this girl was supposed to be like my sister. And instead, she's over there running her mouth about me and dating all of my exes. Name a sister that does that, because I don't know any bitches that be doing that. This is exactly why my circle is so small. I do not trust many because girls are messy. Moral of the story, don't be a dumb bitch like me. Don't think that shit is sweet because it really isn't. The moment they do some funny shit to you, cut them off. I obviously hold no grudges in my heart, so I forgive the girl for all of the mess that she did. And it is what it is, but I will definitely never be her friend again because it just doesn't work like that. Like, sometimes you just need to cut off people for the better. I wish her nothing but the best.
I'm going to tell you about the bride who almost made me quit being a makeup artist. That's how bad she was. So when I was communicating with this bride, I didn't realize it was actually her cousin. This bride didn't speak any English, so her cousin was doing all the bookings with her. And when she showed up, it was her and her cousin. Which obviously, no problem, not a big deal. However,
At this point in my career, I was working out of my kitchen table and I was booking 1 hour appointments for anyone who would book me at home. So she had 1 hour. That time frame has worked really well for me. I am very fast, so it worked really well for me. Unless someone shows up late, then there's a problem. Her appointment was booked for 12 o'clock. Now, 15 minutes late, I can usually still make it work. But by 12:30, this girl still hadn't showed up. So I was just assuming she's probably just not gonna come. I did email, I texted, and I never heard anything back. So I kind of went and sat on the couch, put my feet up, and I was just like, okay, no big deal. It's really not the end of the world, whatever. And I had a client booked right after that. So at 1 o'clock, and I said, I'll just wait until she shows up. Well, at 1:45, this car pulls up and I'm assuming that it's my next client. But no, the music was blasting. There was all kinds of people in the car. And I was like, oh my God, I think this is the bride that was supposed to be here at 12 o'clock. But I had someone else coming at 1, so there was absolutely no way that I could get her done in the time frame. She would have to wait until I was done my other client and just come back, basically. So I get to the front door and there's no sense of urgency. They're kind of strolling up to the door like it's not a big deal that they're late. And like I said, I have another client and the world does not revolve around you. So I was pretty stressed though, and I am kind of a pushover. So I was like, oh gosh. So I get to the door and I'm like, I'm sorry guys, I can't take you right now. You're 45 minutes late. You're gonna have to wait until I'm done with my other client. So these girls were a little bit more, let's say, on the aggressive side. They literally pushed me out of the way and they were like, nope, her ceremony's at 3:30 and she needs to get this done right now. And I was like, yes, but I have another client coming. And they were like, basically, I don't care. We're coming in. And they just pushed past me. They were coming in whether I liked it or not. I have never in my life ran into a situation like this. So I didn't know what to do. I was literally like, they were not taking no for an answer, and it was their wedding day and my next client was just a bridal trial. So I was like, okay, let me send her a message. And they just came in and made herself right at home at my kitchen table. So I emailed my other client and I'm assuming that she wasn't going to see it because it was pretty much her appointment time, but I was just letting her know what was going on. And she obviously didn't see that because it was basically her appointment time. So I just assumed that I was going to be getting a knock on my door in a couple of minutes. So she sits down and I'm praying that she's just going to want a really natural kind of simple look and I'll be able to bang this out, do it in 20 minutes, no big deal. Well, she sits down and again, there's no sense of urgency. They don't feel guilty that they were late. They weren't apologetic, nothing. They were just like, we need to get this done. So she sits down and she pulls out contact lenses and she's like, you need to put these in for me. I don't know how. Do I look like an optometrist? Like, I don't wear contacts. I don't know how to put them in. I don't know what was happening, why she expected me to be able to put in contacts, but they were like, no, you have to put them in. So I literally went, washed my hands. I mean, this is an extra step. When they're already late, I was like, oh my God, and I don't even know how to do it. So this is gonna take me forever. I went, I washed my hands and I was like, okay, whatever, I'm gonna have to try and do this. They were bullying me. Like, there was no taking no for an answer. It was happening, whether I liked it or not. So I just was like, okay, I'll put in these contact lenses, I guess. So I tried a couple of times and finally got them in. It wasn't as hard as I thought, but I literally had like my hands in her eyeball. It was really, really weird. So then she's like, wants this huge, glamorous look. I do it. I probably did it in about 30 minutes. By the way, at this time, my other client had showed up and she knocks on the door and I was like, just a minute, guys, my other client's here. And I said to her, I was like, can you check your email? This client I had never met, but I could just tell she was really easygoing. So I was like, can you check your email? I'm just gonna be a few minutes. So she comes in and she sits in my living room. So I've got all these people in my living room. My living room is basically now a waiting room. And she's like, yeah, no problem. I'll sit and wait. She was doing engagement photos, which I didn't know. And so she was in a little bit of a rush. Not too bad. She was able to wait. So I was like, okay, well, I'm not going to be much longer. So after I was all done, I handed her the mirror, expecting her to be like, yeah, it's perfect. Let's go. Like, I'm getting married in literally an hour. She looked amazing. She was so pretty, but she looked amazing. And she was like, oh, I need this changed. What about this? Can I have this? And like her cousin was standing back analyzing the makeup. I'm like, girls, it looks amazing. Get out of here. Like, my other client was sitting there and they had the audacity to be picking apart my makeup application. It's like, I'm stressed. It looked flawless. Like, there was nothing that was wrong. I hate being late. So the fact that my other client was sitting there and I wasn't ready was stressing me out. I'm like, get out of my house. Like, you're done. You've had your time. You look amazing. She looked amazing, but you gotta go. But I couldn't say this to the girls because they were aggressive. So I wanted to make sure that, I don't know, I feel like they could have beat me up. I was really scared. So they're picking everything apart. Can you change this? Oh, I want more under here. I don't want as much here. I swear I spent an extra 20 minutes fixing their makeup, her makeup. They just weren't happy with anything. And even when she was leaving, she was still like, oh, can you, like, looking in the mirror as she was leaving, picking herself apart. I'm like, bro, go. And I was like, yep. I was like, yeah, no, you look great. You look great. Like, pushing them out the door, basically, because this other girl had to get to her engagement photos, and you gotta go. You gotta go. It blows my mind that people can be like that, because I'm always worried about how other people feel, and I literally put myself last. So the fact that they can just walk in, no big deal, not let me know that they're going to be late, like, I just don't know how people live like that. And they honestly just weren't nice. Like, they weren't being nice to me. I felt like I was being bullied. I literally wanted to cry after. When they left, I mean, you know when you're just literally too stunned, like, you're too stunned to speak. You don't know how to react in the situation because you honestly never thought it would happen to you. That's how they were being. Like, that's how I felt. I felt so out of control. Now, here's the thing, is I learned a lot from that situation. I learned that I shouldn't be such a pushover. I needed to be like, actually, you need to wait. There's nothing else I can do. But like I said, they did kind of like push me down at the door, so it was tough. But in hindsight, I should have been more, when someone's being aggressive with you, you need to be like even more over the top. So I should have done that. That night, I couldn't even sleep. I was just sick over the whole situation. But hopefully, if that does happen to me again, I can be a little bit more aggressive back and take a little bit more control, because I'm a pushover.
The other day, these two older guys came into my work and I was their server. I am working for this tip. I'm trying to give them the best service that I possibly can and being so flirty and fun, and then one of them goes, "You'd be perfect for my son." He's describing him and I'm like, oh my gosh, he sounds so nice. Let me see a picture of him. He looks so familiar, but I don't know who he is. But maybe he just has one of those faces. The dad suggests that I should text him and be like, hey, your dad is trying to set me up with you. But I'm like, no, that's freaking weird. So my dumb ass is like, my next shift is on Wednesday. Why don't you just bring him in and we can pretend that we're meeting organically? He's trying to take pictures of me to show his son. And I'm like, dude, I've been working for 10 hours. If you take a picture of me, there will no be talking. No be talking. I will not talk to your son. I made a lot of bright decisions this day and I decided to give him my Instagram. I get the notification that he follows me and I look at his page and I look at the last name and everything just clicks. I do my stalking. I find the son's page. I'm like, yep, I've talked to this guy before. I wouldn't really consider it talking, but hear me out, okay?
I do not like texting, and I will not text you back for 3 to 4 business days. So this guy is texting me on Snapchat. I'm not responding because I just don't go on Snapchat anymore. Like, maybe I'm adulting, which is sad, but I just don't go on social media other than like TikTok. And he gets mad at me for not responding fast enough, so I ended up just blocking him and a whole bunch of other people. He also DM'd me on Instagram, but he's been undelivered for almost a year. So I go back to the dad, I'm like, by the way, I'm actually moving to Florida in 2 months, so there's no need to tell your son that any of this happened. And he goes, you are not moving. He starts to tell me that they have houses everywhere and that I can get a house anywhere that I want and that I shouldn't move to Florida and be with his son. But they're coming in on Wednesday and I'm gonna meet him in person. Who knows, maybe this is like the nicest guy ever, and of course I'm gonna give him a chance for the next 2 months before I leave. But maybe I was in the wrong for being a horrible texter, you know? I guess I'll let you guys know what happens on Wednesday.